And I kind of just wanted to, sorry, I just got out of the shower. I wanted to chat with you guys about lupus a little. It's been a rough morning. The kids drove me nuts today, and they just drive me nuts. Kids are fun. Both of them are not feeling too good, so they're super irritable, super cranky, so that's always fun. But I wanted to come on here because in honor of World Lupus Day, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about myself. And it was just so much easier to share it live than via write it, because it would have been written forever. So over 10 years ago, I started losing a lot of my hair. I started having a lot of body aches, a lot of discomforts in my body, a lot of things that were limiting my everyday living. And over those course of many years, I was misdiagnosed. I was put on medication that was supposed to help me, and it didn't. So with that being said, 7 years ago, 2010, I went from me being a size 6, which was about 135 pounds for me, to going to a size 1/0, which was a good 20 pounds that I lost. And with losing all that weight in a matter of, I would say, 3 to 4 week period, I was also feeling extremely terrible, to the point where I did not want to get out of bed, literally didn't get out of bed for days. I finally drugged myself to the doctor's office and made them do all kinds of tests. I wanted to know what was wrong with me. A part of me was changing. I went from being super energetic, super happy, just an all-around happy person. I loved going out and doing things. I loved getting together with friends. I loved working. Sounds crazy, right? So anyway, fast forward about 2 weeks, which was the first week of May of 2010 when they diagnosed me with lupus. From there, I was lost. I had no idea what in the world lupus was. Of course, we turned to Google, and what's Google tell you? Google tells you you're gonna die. So in theory, I was freaking out. I was overreacting. I had all these things going on with me, and I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea. Hi, Heather. So at that time, I reached out to support groups on Facebook. I reached out to wherever I could, to the Lupus Foundation of North Carolina, who really helped me tremendously with support and information and introducing me to other people that could help me. So fast forward several months. During those several months, I saw multiple rheumatologists, all of them telling me I had lupus, and then finally being diagnosed also with fibromyalgia, which is another autoimmune disease. So I completely lost it. I wasn't feeling good. I felt like I had the flu all the time. I felt miserable. I was put on all these medications, which then made me gain weight. So I went from being 135 pounds to almost 170 pounds within a 6-week period, which was a total shock and a total, sorry, I got a phone call. It took me to another level. At that time, I went to a little bit of a depression. I was really sad, emotional. All my emotions were everywhere, and I didn't know where to turn. And at the same time, my friend, a mutual friend of mine, sent me a friend request about 8 months prior for Chris, my husband, and I deleted it. I had no interest in dating anyone. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I was working. I was goal-oriented. I was a dreamer. I have always been a dreamer. I've always wanted everything in life to be perfect. So anyway, fast forward, in a dark place, all of a sudden I get a friend request from Chris. I said, what the heck? I'll never meet him. He's just a Facebook friend. I have a million of them. Nothing's going to come of it. Well, 2 weeks later, we finally meet on a blind date. From there, I couldn't get rid of him. I tried. He wouldn't go away. He was stuck. I drug him to a colonoscopy. I drug him to rheumatology appointment after rheumatology appointment. I drug him to my spinal tap, which was awful. A student did it, which I'm all for people learning, but not when it comes to a spinal tap. So that was really rough, and ended up falling in love with him. And so why I bring that up is I've learned a lot since I was diagnosed with lupus. I've learned a lot in the last 10 years. I've learned that there's a lot of things that life's going to throw at us to try to knock us down. But you got to do whatever it is to pick yourself up and move forward and try to bring the best out of everything. With my diagnosis of lupus and fibromyalgia all within a 6-month period, I lost my grandfather, just closed on my house. I had a lot going on. Emotionally, I was all over the place. I felt awful. Canceled dates left and right with Chris because I just couldn't do it all. And then we fell in love. I also met several friends through the Lupus Foundation. I met support groups, Lyme disease support groups, lupus disease support groups, lupus, fibromyalgia, all of them. I've met some of my best friends today from those groups. And I don't think, I know I couldn't be where I'm at right now without a lot of them, who stuck by me, who supported me, who understood what I was going through and never left my side. With that being said, my husband and I had 2 beautiful girls, very healthy kids, little baby monsters as I call them, but I was told I couldn't have kids. So I have 2 beautiful girls that I'm truly blessed with every day, that I couldn't thank God for more. I moved to Colorado after meeting a friend of mine in North Carolina. After I nannied for her children, we moved out here after visiting, fell in love with the area. It's gorgeous in Colorado, minus today it's raining, but I still feel good. So, yeah, so we moved to Colorado. We created a life for ourselves out here. Chris found an amazing job that fully takes care of him. Anything he needs, he's there. They appreciate, they respect him, which is huge for any job that you have. And we love it here. We've made such an amazing group of friends that we call family, friends that are closer to us than some family, friends who are there for us better than some family. Truly, truly grateful for everything that has happened since my diagnosis. And I believe things happen for a reason. Things are placed in our life to bring us to the next stage of our life, good and bad. We just have to take all of it with us. And so when Chris and I got married, we dedicated our wedding to the Lupus Foundation. We asked all of our guests to donate to the Lupus Foundation instead of getting gifts for us. So many things that I've done to help support so many people that I love and care about that have autoimmune diseases, that have autoinflammatory diseases, that have multiple things that can debilitate you and take your part of your life away. So with that, I just want you guys to know a little bit of my story. A lot of you that know me know my story, not everyone. So in honor of Lupus, World Lupus Day, I'm rocking my purple eyeshadow. Do you guys see? I got my purple nails, or purple and pink. But I'm truly grateful for everyone that I've met since my diagnosis in 2010. I'm truly grateful for all the blessings. I try to look at all the positives out of everything that happens bad in our life, because that's all you can do. You can only look up instead of down. And I try to bring people with me, bring me up. I hope it makes sense. I'm kind of emotional. It's just a lot, but I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for my girls. I'm grateful for all my friends watching, because all of you I've met through different people that have brought me here where I am today. So with that being said, I just wanted to say hello, and I wanted to share my story and bring people aware of lupus and an autoimmune disease that really takes a lot out of a lot of people and really affects a lot of people these days. It's a disease you can't see, you only feel it. And I choose every day to wake up, I choose to put my makeup on, I choose to put a smile on my face, because I am conquering my life, and nothing else is going to take my life away from me. And I'm going to live I want my kids to live a fun-filled, healthy, happy lifestyle, and I choose to not let the disease take over my life, because it's what I want. I did for a short period of my life, and it was a really bad place, and I don't want that. I want everyone who suffers from anything to know that there's things that are brighter and bigger for them out there, and to try to bring light into the negatives in your life. I love talking to people. I love helping people feel better, whether it's just being that person that you can vent to, or just sharing my story on how I've overcome a lot of my negatives in my life. So I'm truly grateful for all my new friends. I'm truly grateful for everyone in my life, my family, my husband, my children. Every day I thank God for everyone in my life. Let me know if you guys have questions, if you guys need to talk, if you would love to learn more about the Lupus Foundation.
What if Chris Watts didn't just kill his family to be with another woman, but to erase the life he willingly created? The world knows Chris Watts killed his wife and kids. But what if Shanann wasn't the first target or his first victim, but just the first step in a plan no one saw coming? Behind every smile, every family photo, Chris hid a secret life. He wanted the world to believe he had it all, but in reality, he was already planning a future without them. But he killed his family without any mistake. Was she the first on his list, or has he done such before? If Shanann's friends hadn't stepped in, would Chris have gotten away with it all? Or was she just the beginning of something far darker? In the world of social media, few families seemed as picture-perfect as the Watts family. Chris and Shanann Watts, along with their two young daughters, Bella and Celeste, were often seen smiling for the camera, their lives appearing like a storybook. Shanann, in particular, shared the family's daily moments online, from birthday celebrations to vacations, painting an image of a loving, tightly knit family. Their home in Frederick, Colorado, was a dream come true, spacious, suburban, and filled with the laughter of young children. Every photo, every post, seemed to tell the story of the perfect American family. But behind these carefully curated images, there were cracks that no one could see. While the public admired the Watts family's life, the tension within their household had been quietly building for months, even years. The happy moments they shared online couldn't disguise the underlying issues lurking beneath the surface. Was Shanann's life truly as fulfilling as it appeared to be, or was she the first to feel the weight of an invisible struggle? Her role as the primary breadwinner, a mother juggling multiple responsibilities, and a wife trying to hold her family together were all at odds with the troubled relationship she had with Chris. Shanann's social media presence painted her as the beacon of positivity and strength, but those closest to her would later admit there were signs she had been shouldering much more than anyone realized. The perfect family, a facade so expertly constructed, was unraveling behind closed doors. Was this facade merely a way to hide the truth from the outside world, or was it a desperate attempt to hold on to a marriage that was already faltering? For Chris, was the family life that Shanann presented truly the dream he wanted, or was it merely the beginning of his quiet resentment? Was Shanann's role as the central figure in the family always going to make her the first target in Chris's hidden plans, or was her death an isolated and impulsive act driven by his own emotional turmoil? As we move forward, the question remains, was Shanann's tragic end the first step in a dark path Chris had already set in motion? Was she the first of many victims in a scheme he had been carefully preparing for longer than anyone could have known? While Chris appeared to be the devoted husband and father in public, in private, the reality was much different. Financial stress, emotional detachment, and a growing sense of dissatisfaction began to eat away at their relationship. The love that once defined their bond had been replaced by distance, misunderstandings, and resentment. Shanann had her own struggles, the pressure of supporting the family and keeping up the image of a perfect home, but it was Chris's behavior that ultimately drove a wedge between them. His emotional withdrawal was becoming more apparent, and while Shanann was trying to hold things together, it was clear that Chris's priorities were shifting. His affair with Nicole Kessinger added fuel to the fire. While Shanann was away on a business trip, Chris began to detach himself further from her, spending time with Nicole and secretly planning a life without his wife. The affair wasn't just a betrayal of trust, it was an escape. Chris saw in Nicole a chance for something new, something that didn't come with the responsibility and emotional weight of his family life. In some ways, Nicole represented the freedom Chris was yearning for. But that freedom didn't come without consequences. Chris's feelings of entrapment, combined with his growing dissatisfaction, led to a storm of emotions that he was struggling to suppress. The strains in the relationship had become more than just arguments, they were signs that something much darker was building. This chapter lays the groundwork for understanding Chris's true motivations. It introduces the possibility that Shanann's death wasn't a singular, impulsive act. Was Shanann the first victim, not just of Chris's rage, but of a much larger, darker desire to free himself from the life he had built? Was she the first domino to fall in a series of planned murders, or was she simply a tragic casualty of Chris's growing emotional detachment? For Chris, the marriage was no longer fulfilling, and Shanann's role in his life became one of restriction, not love. His detachment grew, as did his resentment. Shanann's struggle to connect with her husband made her vulnerable to his manipulation, but was it enough to make her the first in a chilling chain of events? Could the financial strain, emotional neglect, and affair have led him to see his wife as an obstacle, one he was willing to remove to create a new life? Was Chris preparing for this moment all along, or was this a sudden, violent break in his psyche? Here, we are forced to ask. Was Shanann the first to pay the price for Chris's discontent, or was her death a spontaneous act brought on by years of hidden emotions finally spilling over? When Chris Watts first appeared in public as a grieving father, he wore the mask of a loving husband, a devoted father, and a man caught in the whirlwind of an unimaginable tragedy. But behind that mask lay a far more complex individual, one whose darkest tendencies remained hidden until the very day his life unraveled in front of the world. Chris Watts' childhood may have provided subtle clues to the psychological makeup that would ultimately drive him to murder. Raised in a family where emotions were often stifled, and affection was withheld, Chris was no stranger to emotional neglect. His relationship with his parents was distant, and while outwardly functioning, it lacked the warmth and connection that many of us associate with healthy family dynamics. Did this lack of emotional connection shape his ability to form genuine bonds as an adult? Was his inability to emotionally connect with his wife, Shanann, a result of a much deeper, unresolved issue that stemmed from his formative years? Psychologists who analyzed his case would later suggest that Chris had all the hallmarks of a manipulator. He was charming, articulate, and capable of playing the role of a devoted husband and father when needed. However, his actions, both before and after the murders, painted a different picture. Chris was calculated, not impulsive. His ability to live a double life for so long shows a level of emotional detachment that is chilling. How could a man so outwardly normal have hidden his true nature for so long? Was he the kind of person who saw others, especially those closest to him, as tools in his quest for a different life?
Details in interrogations. Which statements should investigators note as unreliable and possibly deceptive? What do speech patterns and word choice reveal about suspects? Welcome or welcome back to the channel.
Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about? So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. Okay. And part of keeping an open mind is listening to you talk about your wife and your marriage, and the day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay? so you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. Like, I know, like, I've talked to a few of my friends, is like, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know. It's like, if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're going to look at me, especially with the way everything looks. And honestly, it just makes me sick to my stomach because this is something that I would never do. Ever. It makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. It honestly just makes me sick to my stomach.
Appeals to honesty, like to be honest and honestly, often enter a suspect's language when he's lying, hasn't been honest up until a certain point, or is withholding information. In conversations, we expect each other to be honest, so strictly speaking, there's no reason to say we're being honest. So the facts that Watts puts extra emphasis on something that should be obvious, especially in an interrogation, should be noted, not because it's automatically deceptive, but because it could point to the opposite, that Watts isn't sick to his stomach as he dramatizes it.
I've talked to a few of my friends, is like, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know.
This is another characteristic of Watts' speech pattern, and the speech patterns of other deceptive people. They mimic the concerns of the other speaker, and they mimic the emotions they know they're supposed to be feeling and expressing. Here, Watts mimics Coda's concerns, claiming that he's talked to a few of his friends who've said the same. The verb tense shift should be considered though. Watts starts by saying,
I've talked to,
but then shifts to present tense.
I'm like, I know. I'm like,
no matter if these interactions took place or not, Watts uses this narrative to act like he's stoic about being a suspect, as if it's unsurprising. I say act like because later it's obvious that he isn't calm. By referring to his friends, Watts indirectly denies Coda's implicit question, did you hurt your family? Watts says this is something he'd never do, which isn't the same as saying he didn't do it. A person might never want to hurt anybody, generically, but that doesn't mean they didn't hurt anybody, specifically. There's a linguistic difference there, so Watts' denial is weak. Other times, Watts mimics the emotions he's neglected to express.
These are your baby girls, and you have not shed one tear over them not being around. Chris, I lose my 4-year-old in the store for 10 seconds and I start to go panic. I have not seen any of that from you at all. Help me understand that.
I love those girls. I would never do anything just because I haven't shed a tear. Like, you
no, that's weird. Is that weird?
Don't look into that like I don't love my kids.
Tell me, explain to me.
Don't.
When the agents bring up something he hasn't shown them yet, in this case something as natural as emotions, he immediately tries to fake it, which unintentionally reveals that he's not emotional but cunning, concerned with how the agents perceive him, as opposed to being concerned about his missing family. Other times he exaggerates how much he misses his family.
My kids are my life. Those smiles light up my life. And this, last night, during when they usually eat dinner, it was just like I miss them. I miss telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not going to get your dessert, and just you're not going to get your snack after. I miss that. I miss them, cuddle up on their couches. For nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on. And I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. And know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. It was.
His family's only been gone for one night, yet he goes on and on about the things he misses, as someone who knows they aren't coming back. Watts can't express emotions naturally and believably. He knows which emotional and dramatic words to use, but can't find appropriate facial expressions to go with them.
And it was just a traumatic night, trying to be here. If just earth-shattering, I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from. I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad.
Next, notice how Coda's lack of acknowledgement tokens makes Watts uncomfortable.
I know, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife at all. I'm not sure like what I could do like to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family at all. I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning, and then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids.
In conversations, it's uncomfortable when the person we're speaking to doesn't acknowledge what we're saying. The effect of withholding acknowledgement tokens is that the speaker starts repeating himself and overemphasizing, all of which points to nervousness, which again could point to guilty knowledge, because if the speaker has nothing to hide, why is he nervous? The more unresponsive Coda is, the more what says, and the more what says, the greater the chance that he'll incriminate himself. Watts' nervousness is made clear by his self-repairs and pauses, as he's having difficulty completing simple utterances.
I know, like, you have to look at every vantage point.
Again, Watts says what he'd never do, not what he didn't do. And when Coda is being unresponsive, Watts overemphasizes with "at all."
There's no, I would harm anybody in my family. At all.
At all is an unnecessary add-on. Unnecessary in the sense that it doesn't add any new and relevant meaning to what preceded it. In this case, Watts' unreliable denial. Same as the word ever.
This is something that I would never do. Ever.
Such unnecessary, overly convincing linguistic elements are present when suspects are more preoccupied with how agents perceive them than their missing loved ones. It's ironic how statements that are meant to be persuasive are oftentimes the least persuasive of all.
I'm not sure, like, what I could do, like, to make people believe that.
The words "make people believe" are interesting, because that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to make Coda believe him, but he doesn't say, "I'm not sure what I could do to make you believe," which would be personal and direct. Instead, Watts indirectly addresses Coda by referring to people, just like he referred to a few friends previously.
I've talked to a few of my friends, is like, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know.
And no matter how unsurprising and trivial Watts tries to make the suspicion sound, people wouldn't automatically suspect him, not if he had a solid alibi. It's too late for Watts to act stoic, but apparently he can't read the room.
There's no, I would harm anybody in my family. At all.
Like the word never, claiming there's no way he would harm anybody in his family isn't the same as saying that he didn't harm them. Again, there's a difference between general and specific language, and again, at all is overemphasis, Watts exaggerating his supposed innocence. Notably, he doesn't say who he wouldn't harm. No, he says anybody, which is distancing and unspecific, because specifically, it's not anybody who's missing, it's his wife and children. And he says it with exaggerated affective prosody, which is a way of manipulating one's voice to convey emotion, not because the speaker is actually emotional, but because the speaker wants to be perceived as being emotional.
Anybody in my family.
Very similar to the way Scott Peterson used.
What struck people most was how seamlessly Chris had been able to manipulate those around him. His family, his friends, and even law enforcement were all initially fooled by his performance. He was able to present himself as a grieving husband, devastated by the disappearance of his wife and daughters, all the while hiding his role in their deaths. His ability to deceive everyone around him was a testament to the depth of his manipulation, a manipulation that went far beyond just his family. Chris had created an entire life built on lies, and in the end, it was this web of deceit that led to his downfall. But the real question that lingered in the aftermath was, how far did Chris's plan go? Was Shanann's death the culmination of years of emotional detachment and resentment, or was it part of a larger scheme that Chris had been planning for some time? His confession revealed the shocking truth that Shanann's murder had been a calculated act, but was it just the beginning? Was Chris prepared to kill again if it meant securing his freedom, or was this a case of a man so consumed by his desires that he lost sight of everything he once held dear? The pain for Shanann's family would never end. Their lives would forever be marked by the betrayal of someone they had trusted, and the loss of those they loved. But even in the face of such overwhelming grief, there was something more at play. Chris's actions had not just destroyed a family, they had shattered the illusion of the perfect life he had worked so hard to maintain. His confession was just the beginning of the aftermath, a painful reckoning for a man who had buried his true self behind a carefully crafted mask. And as the world watched, the question remained, was Shanann's death the final step in Chris's twisted plan, or was there more to the story that would never come to light? Throughout this documentary, we've witnessed how Chris Watts, a seemingly loving father and husband, used manipulation to deceive those closest to him, including his own family. Shanann's murder, followed by the brutal deaths of Bella and Celeste, was, on the surface, a senseless act of violence. But as experts analyzed his actions, they began to uncover a deeper, more calculated mind at work. The eerie calm with which Chris initially presented himself, the lack of immediate remorse, and the step-by-step way he orchestrated his own version of events pointed to something far darker than anyone initially believed. The question that still lingers, was Shanann the first victim in Chris's plan, or merely the first to trigger his larger scheme? The psychological profile of Chris Watts reveals a man whose discontent had festered for months, perhaps even years. His affair with Nicole Kessinger was just one piece of the puzzle. It was clear that Chris felt trapped by his responsibilities as a husband and father, and as his life with Shanann began to unravel, his desire for a new beginning intensified. Yet, was this simply a result of marital strain, or did Chris's long-hidden desires play a more central role in his decision to end the lives of his family? If Shanann had never confronted him about his affair, if her friends hadn't pushed for answers, could Chris have continued with his life undetected? Would he have killed again, eliminating anyone who stood in the way of his escape, or was her death the only one he had planned? The truth is that we can never know for certain. But what we do know is that Chris's decision to take the lives of his wife and children wasn't an isolated act of rage. It was part of a carefully constructed plan that nearly succeeded. Had it not been for the persistence of Shanann's friends, the truth might have remained hidden. As we tie together the emotional, psychological, and investigative threads of this case, the lingering questions remain. Was Shanann truly the first victim of Chris's deeper plan, or was her death the tragic consequence of a man who, for reasons we may never fully understand, snapped in a moment of crisis? Was she just a casualty in his larger scheme to free himself from a life he no longer wanted? Or did her murder come from a place of selfishness, where Chris could no longer bear the weight of the lies, the family, and the responsibilities that defined his existence? One thing is certain, the mystery of whether Shanann was the first victim, or simply the beginning, will haunt those who followed this case long after the final credits roll. This story is a sobering reminder of the dangers that lie hidden in the lives of those we think we know best. It raises questions about the nature of manipulation, the depths of emotional detachment, and the chilling potential for a man to deceive even the people closest to him. Chris Watts' actions were driven by a complex mix of personal failure, desperation, and an overwhelming desire for freedom. And while we may never fully understand what led him to murder, one thing is clear, Shanann's tragic death was only the beginning of a far deeper, darker story than anyone could have anticipated. As we close this chapter, we are left with more questions than answers. The truth, no matter how unsettling, is that sometimes, the biggest secrets are the ones we least expect.
Yes, your buckle. Do you want a brother or a sister?
Sister.
You want a little sister?
Yeah.
You want to be a big sister?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Go, Cece. Go, Bella. Careful, Cece. You're going to get dizzy. You're going to get dizzy, Cece. You're going to get dizzy. Blow on it, Cece. No, don't let her touch the plate. No, 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 no. Blow on it, Cece. Okay, look. Blow. Cece, blow. Say hi, Cece. Hi. Look at this monster. This is what I deal with. Like, she's a monster. Don't you jump off the couch. Oh. I'm sitting right here, Mama. She's a monster. Like, she doesn't stop. Like, seriously, this kid hasn't napped today. No, don't stay on my legs, baby. My life. You want more cereal?
Yeah, I wipe it.
I'll wipe it.
It's boo-boo.
It's a boo-boo. Cece, are you hungry? Celeste. Hey, are you hungry?
Yeah.
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 Cereal.
I wipe it.
We'll wipe it. So, I feel really blessed this summer. I'm going to San Diego with Chris. We're going June 22nd through the 26th. No, the 26th we come home at 1:30 in the morning. And then the 26th, that afternoon at 5:30 at night, Bella, Cece, and I and my dad are flying back to North Carolina for 6 weeks. 6 weeks we're going to be in North Carolina, Cece, right? And we're going to go spend time with our families and friends and everything else. And then we're going to come back August 7th. And then I fly to Scottsdale, Arizona on the 11th for a mini little retreat with my team. And we're going to have a lot of fun. What are you doing? This child does not sit still ever. Look at this. Bella, say hi. Bella, say hi. And I really love the fact that careful, Cece, there's a table there. Child. Yeah, day in the life with Cece. And just feel blessed that we can do that. We can travel the world. One day Chris can travel that long with us. You wonder why I need Thrive. That kid right there. 7:15 in the morning. Cece. Thrive is a must.
High fives?
Come say hi, Nana, Papa. Mimi, Papa. Cece?
Yucky? Good job.
Want to chase me?
You want Daddy to do push-ups again?
Want to chase me?
Chase or push-ups?
Chase me.
Okay.
Okay. Say goodbye to Nana.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye to
So I can go
everybody.
chase you.
Bye.
You're so sweet. Cece, blow kisses. You're adorable. What are you doing, Cece? Are you stuck?
Do you like the snow? Let's see. Is that snow? Is it cold? It's snow. Are you putting on your toes? Oh no. On the floor. Do you want to go play in the snow?
No. I'm cold.
It is cold, baby. Shut the door.
I'm not that cold.
It is cold.
I'm cold.
I know, baby. It's cold. So rub it on the door. Oh, you're putting on your toes? It's cold.
More.
You want more?
Yes. I'm cold.
I know.